to the Chronicles of the GOAT debate. And so last week we got some amazing facts and numbers from B. Lee on LeBron's playoff dominance over
This the
the
part that need to be on
Shaq and
live. You ain't
Kobe,
went live yet. This is the live part right here.
the Shaq and Kobe, as well as the Jordan and Pippen. So we'll move it over, man, because I think B.
I
Lee's
will
gonna
only
mention
bring
something
up
about
facts.
we're gonna mention something about B. Lee's gonna mention something about maybe possibly the Jordan rules. Turning it over, B. Lee, what you got? Chronicles of the GOAT debate.
Okay, so this is the Chronicles of the NBA GOAT debate. So last week we discussed the playoffs and how LeBron has an overwhelmingly edge on the playoff statistics. And now we move into defense. Not individually defense, but defense when Jordan started to play. So as we know, Michael Jordan came to the league like an atomic bomb. Never has someone been this aggressive, and the league did not have any answers for this dude. Look at the 1986 NBA playoffs when Jordan scored a playoff all-time high of 63 points. Wow, but fun fact, did you know there was a team that developed a rule to limit Jordan? Check this out. It was called the Jordan rules. You probably heard of it, but not quite like I'm about to explain it. So it had 4 simple rules to limit Jordan. These rules worked so well that it caused Jordan not to be able to get past the Detroit Pistons for 3 straight playoff series. For example, on May 29, 1989, the Bad Boy Pistons held Jordan to 5 field goals made, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds in an actual game. Then 2 days later, on May 31st, 1989, Jordan was 4 for 8 in field goal attempts, 0 for 1 in 3 points, and 4 turnovers. So not only did the Pistons win that series, but they also beat the Jordan Bulls the year prior and the year following that year. So let's take a closer look at these Jordan rules, which consisted of 4 show-stopping rules. First, on the wing, push him to the elbow. Don't let him drive baseline. Okay, that's kind of simple. All right, so let's look at the second one. It gets a little bit juicier here. So when he's on top, influence him to his left. All right, that's pretty obvious. You force him to his least dominant hand. All right, not too hardcore yet. But now there's the third rule, is where it gets really hard. When he gets the ball in the low post, trap him from the top. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is what really stopped Jordan? No, I'm just kidding. So let's look at the final rule. So if he gets the ball in the paint, knock him down, make him shoot free throws. All right, so you mean to tell me that the Jordan rules was a defensive strategy? So nobody had the time to develop a strategy to win a game. So prior to the Detroit Pistons developing these rules in 1987, they just jumped ball and boxed out. So when Isaiah Thomas said defenses are more complicated today and more thinking is put into defense, he was actually not hating on Michael Jordan. So when he was just talking from basketball experience, basically. So let me get this straight. It took until the 1990s to develop a defensive strategy to not allow someone to go one-on-one and stop the person from scoring. So the Jordan rules is a bunch of nonsense made up by Jordan fans to make them look better for not winning a title in the 80s. But if Jordan played today, he would average 60 when he averaged 37 and first round sweeps without any type of defensive strategies. Yeah, LeBron is in a much tougher basketball era. So let's open this up for debate. Do the Jordan rules provide enough information on why defenses are better today?
I guess so. At the last point, they ain't had no good coaches back in the day with no defensive strategies.
I don't know, man. I can't so much say
I was
that the
looking for the
defenses are
visual.
better. Yeah, I wouldn't say the defensive strategies are better because actually the quote unquote new
There you
rules,
go. There you go.
the new rules of this NBA, we all know were designed to stop Shaq, right? Like when they were playing the Sacramento Kings and they would literally have one man in front of them and another man sitting in his lap, right? They started to break that down and it's like, hey, the only way you're gonna stop Shaq is if you allow zone. So yeah, you might have a little bit more sophistication in terms of ways you can trap guys and do stuff like that. But I don't know. If you asking me, man, I think that the
Are
Jordan.
these rules overrated?
No, I think looking at them, they look like, oh, this don't look sophisticated. But what we don't see is what we saw with our own eyes. They bumped that man, they knocked him on his butt, they punched him in his mouth, they did everything that they could to make sure that he would mentally break, and he didn't. So, I think I brought it up earlier that Pippen was also seeing the Jordan rules, and he had a migraine and couldn't play. But I turn it back over to you all. What you all got?
I only got a quote from the late great Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain, who said, "You're only great if they change the rules for you." And like I could definitely put in factual content. When Wilt Chamberlain played, they changed the rules in goaltending. When Kareem
And why,
Abdul,
Lane?
when Kareem and a wide lane, when Kareem Abdul played, they stopped dunking for a long time. You couldn't dunk because he was that dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Then another brother came in. Then they decided to go ahead and say, okay, no hand checking. Oh no, what they say, you can't hand check or something like that. That was the Jordan rules. When you could put two hands on somebody and you could guide them. And then they changed the rules for Shaq. Say, you know what, we're gonna get rid of this illegal defense. We're gonna let them play zone. Just like you had stated. So when they change the rules for you, that defines your greatness right there in itself. That they actually have to go in the rule book, figure out a way to make the playing level more even because you're that good. And it's proven they had to change the rules for Jordan.
So what rules did they change for Jordan?
Hand checking rules.
So you couldn't hand check him, or you could hand check
You
him?
could hand check them. You
They've
could
been
put
hand
two hands on
checking
a guy in the
before he
whole
came in the
night.
league. They was hand checking before Jordan came in the league, and it limited hand checking while Jordan was playing.
I know.
So that doesn't make any sense.
They changed the rules.
They changed the rules so you could hand check less when Jordan was playing.
Yeah. They
So
were hand checking him, Jordan. Yeah.
I mean,
they
like
was,
you just said, they had to say the best player in the whole league just so he could survive instead of going through having to get beat up and get 60 like versus Detroit, like we already stated, and seeing them walk off the court. They didn't want that brand of basketball no more, but they changed the rules.
I think what you might have been a better argument saying that they basically started implementing different flagrant fouls. They started
I'm pretty sure what I said was direct, and I'm pretty much sure I know what I'm on point. But basically, they changed the rules so they can basically figure out some way, somehow, to slow down this beast. And because of the fact that the two hand check didn't work, and they realized that this dude was a still beast, they say, you know what, maybe we need to protect our asset because now the NBA is getting so much money from Jordan. They ain't never had so much money coming in till Jordan globally. So let's go ahead and change the rules and start saving these players. So LeBron might want to give Jordan a little bit of heads up because the NBA started to realize the value of the NBA superstar, especially the greatest player in the league, and start to push him up and say, you know what, let's protect him the same way we do LeBron. You like to flop? Okay, we'll make it a rule to where, okay, you can flop.
Okay, let me say, you said they changed the rules to limit players. So how is limited Jordan taking away hand checking?
I ain't say limit.
They changed the rules so Jordan could score more or score less.
I think he was trying to say that they leveled the playing field. Jordan was so dominant, they moved the hand check rule.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, so taking away hand checking made everything fair for everybody.
I ain't say they took away hand checking. This is all your words.
No,
tell me what I said.
I'm trying to understand what you were saying. You're saying that they changed the rules for Jordan, and I'm trying to say what rules did they change?
I said for every superstar, I'm gonna go back. They have did some type of rule change.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't specifically say Jordan, but Jordan is one of the superstars that they definitely changed some rules for during the time. Same way like they changed the rules about bagging down during the same time. So Charles Barkley was bagging niggas down from half court. So yeah, they started to change rules, tweak some stuff, because they started to realize that people were taking advantage in certain type of ways. So Detroit was taking advantage of the two-hand check rule. Because not only did they have these rules, they would implement a whole nother tactic, which was whooping ass basically, and see how much you could take.
Right.
And he took it. So what I'm saying is, once they realized that this GOAT persevered through all that stuff and still prevailed, they started to do a different thing, which is start to protect their superstar. They didn't level the playing field no more. They started to protect Jordan a little bit. So yes, LeBron owes Jordan a lot because they learned when Jordan made them so much money that they should protect their most valuable asset. So that's why they do all this stuff for LeBron. That's why LeBron didn't get kicked out when he did that to Joel.
But LeBron don't be getting no calls though, bro.
LeBron shoots less free throws than Michael Jordan. Anyways, like I'm still kind of lost.
I don't care about these magical stats you got coming up.
I'm still kind of
these
lost.
one-sided. I'm the one who make all the prompt stats. Like that's so whack.
Go. I don't. He shoots less free throws. Like that's not. Well, anyways, so I'm just kind of lost when you're saying that they changed the rules for Michael Jordan to make him score more. That's basically what you're saying. So
that's not what I'm saying. That's what you keep on putting in people's mouths as everybody can hear. So I said what I said. Either you hear it or you cannot hear it. All that change the narrative you doing is not gonna work with me, bro.
I'm trying to understand this. This is
now you're trying to change the narrative.
I'm not trying to at all. You saying that Detroit was playing not basketball. They was using two hands, pushing, fouling, trying to hurt people. So
that's what you say, brother. That's what you say. That's what you've been saying since we've been talking about old school defense. From what Brandon Lee says back in the day, it was only pushing and shoving going on. Even though back in the day, we know that was a part of the defense that we all were accustomed to growing up and going against. But Brandon called it all pushing and shoving and fouling. So no,
I never got tackled, but anyways. So and I never got drop kicked or a sword never sliced my arm off. But anyways, I'm trying to understand how you're saying that they changed the rules for Jordan. Like you're saying how they changed the rules for Kareem and Wilt and Shaq. They didn't change any rules for Jordan. They just started calling flagrant fouls.
B. Lee, let me ask this question. B. Lee, let me ask this question. How do you think, since it's a GOAT debate, how do you think LeBron would have fared on those Bulls teams against this Detroit defense?
I think LeBron would have started running people over, actually. And I think LeBron would have been elbowing people because he would have been the biggest dude on the court.
Bigger than Mahorn? Bigger than Lambeer?
Body-wise, muscle-wise, he was bigger than everybody. He's fastest player on the court, the biggest dude on the court.
So are you saying that? So you think that the 88 and 89 Bulls would have prevailed over the 88 and 89 Pistons with LeBron?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
All right. Because Detroit just had the better team.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
They had the better team.
What did the Bulls get other than Phil Jackson?
So what did they get other than Phil Jackson?
Right, because the Bulls won in Phil Jackson's first season, correct?
No.
You sure?
I'm 100% positive. Phil Jackson did not win his first year coaching with the Bulls.
What was his first year with the Bulls? Wasn't it 90-91?
Nope.
Oh, I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. Let me look it up.
Phil came in as an assistant with Doug Collins, and then they promoted Phil, I believe, in 89, maybe even 88.
All right, let's see. I'm about to see, man. But keep going, fellas. I'll just keep looking
So
at
I was
it.
just saying that, they didn't really change the rules for Jordan. They just called fouls. Like, you can't foul somebody. It wasn't defense. Like, if, maybe if they didn't play like that, the Bulls might have won the third year, but I don't think they would have beat them the first 2 years. I just think Detroit just had the better team and a more experienced team. But you're right. The reason that Detroit beat the Bulls that third year was because of Pippen had the migraine.
All right, so Phil Jackson won his second year as coach in 1991. He first came as the head coach in 89-90.
Yeah, that's why I figured he got hired in '89.
Oh, he was their assistant before that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to say he was the
Yeah.
assistant with Doug Collins before that. Then he got hired in '89.
All right, fellas. So, all right, final thoughts on this, man, before I go ahead and take my last shot. Mark, I'll let you give your final shots. Your final thoughts on this GOAT debate.
Man, I'm so final on this.
Yeah, Art was just saying a bunch of nonsense. So
I guess so,
still
bro.
don't understand what he was saying about them changing
And
rules.
I already know where it's going with the little edits, bro. So go ahead and get this out this way, because I ain't about to keep on doing this shit.
All right, B. Lee, what's yours, man? I'll take my final shot.
Yeah, I about to say it's one thing, bro, but I ain't about to look like no goddamn fool.
I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't steer you like that.
It's
Anyways,
cool.
that's all I'm
It's
saying.
cool.
Is that these Jordan rules are just overrated. That's all I'm trying to say. Like, it was just a defensive strategy that we've been doing since high school. You just have to limit people from scoring. The only thing that they did different was make sure that he didn't dunk on them, just like everyone else did in the 80s. Other than that, these Jordan rules, every time I hear it, it really upsets me because it's so stupid that they think that making someone drive to their weak hand or trapping them is this complicated rule when Jordan averaged 35 points a game still. Like, it's not, it was just a defensive strategy to limit him. And the only thing they did different was just make sure he didn't dunk on him. So, like Isaiah Thomas has been saying for years, it was a defensive strategy. This is what everyone's been doing. This is not a revolutionary rule that limit Jordan from losing. Don't stop trying to make excuses for Jordan losing. The dude just lost. And if you want to say he lost because he got fouled too much, like he was complaining in the paper that Detroit Pistons is not playing basketball. This is not basketball. He has said that. And that's why Detroit walked off, because they didn't feel like he was giving them their credit. So why would you want to shake his hand? So they just walked off the court. Simple as that.
Let's settle it with Marky Mark and B. Lee. I'm your host, AG. Subscribe on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter for your great sports debate. We not only chronicle the GOAT debate, MJ or LeBron, but we are talking sports and lots of NBA hoops. Follow us for our weekly show where you can tune in and learn about what's going down in the NBA.